Morning sunlight streamed through the towering glass windows of a five-star restaurant in New York, spilling gold across crystal glasses and polished marble floors. The room carried that quiet electric tension only found when powerful people sit across from one another, negotiating futures worth millions. At the center table sat Charles Donovan, a billionaire known for owning much of the Manhattan skyline. And yet, in that moment, he looked completely lost. His translator had canceled an hour earlier. Across from him sat Mr. Takahiro, a respected Japanese investor whose partnership Charles had pursued for months. Without a translator, the deal was collapsing in real time. Charles tried everything: charts, gestures, broken phrases. Nothing worked. Mr. Takahiro remained polite, composed, but distant. The silence between them grew heavier. Across the room, a young waitress named Emily noticed. She wasn't meant to notice. In places like this, servers are trained to move quietly, unseen. But Emily saw what others missed. She saw Charles's trembling hands. She saw the disappointment flicker across Mr. Takahiro's face, and she recognized that look. A year earlier, Emily had been sleeping in her car, holding on to her late father's Japanese-English dictionary. He had been a language professor who taught her that understanding someone's language meant honoring their humanity. After his passing, she had lost her scholarship and her direction. Working at the restaurant was her fresh start. As she refilled their water glasses, she heard Charles whisper, "I can't do this." Something inside her shifted. Before doubt could stop her, she gently greeted Mr. Takahiro in Japanese. His eyes widened. She bowed respectfully and introduced herself. For the first time that morning, the tension cracked. Charles stared at her in disbelief. "Sir," she said calmly, "I speak Japanese. I can help if you'll allow me." Hope flickered across his face. Emily sat beside them, nervous but steady, and began translating. But she didn't just translate words. She translated meaning. When Charles spoke about expansion, Emily framed it as partnership. When he mentioned growth, she conveyed shared legacy. When he talked numbers, she communicated trust. Her voice carried not just language, but respect. As the conversation deepened, something changed. The billionaire stopped sounding like a salesman. The investors stopped looking like a skeptic. They began speaking like two human beings. Hours passed unnoticed. By the end, Mr. Takahiro smiled warmly. In careful English, he told Emily, "You remind me of my daughter. Your father would be proud." Tears filled her eyes. Then he turned to Charles and spoke quietly in Japanese. Emily's voice trembled as she translated. He says, "He will sign the deal. He trusts your heart." The restaurant seemed to pause. Charles extended his hand to Emily. "You didn't just save the deal," he whispered. "You saved me." She smiled softly. Sometimes kindness speaks louder than language. Later that night, Charles handed her an envelope with a check that could have changed her life instantly. Emily handed it back. "You already gave me something more valuable," she said. Belief. What she didn't know was that the next morning, Charles made a different decision. He offered her a position in his international relations division. Not as a translator, but as a bridge builder. Within months, Emily moved into her own apartment. She attended global conferences. She helped create cultural exchange programs connecting startups across continents. But for her, it was never about wealth. It was about honoring her father's lesson. The true power isn't in money. It's in understanding. Years later, when Mr. Takahiro was asked why he trusted Charles's company, he smiled and replied, "Because one waitress showed me the soul of their business. And sometimes, that's worth more than millions." If this story touched your heart, subscribe for kindness and join our family at K for Kindness, because courage, empathy, and small brave moments can turn ordinary days into life-changing miracles.